load shedding is going to be with us for a while. This is because the power utility still needs to work on rectifying construction defects at some power stations and to service aging power plants. The cost of Eskom keeping the lights on is another major challenge after years of financial mismanagement and alleged corruption. And joining us now is still Sikonathi Mantshantsha, who's the spokesperson for the power utility. Sikonathi, I certainly hope we have a better line this time. They say, three is a charm, so let's do hope that we can have this conversation. I was asking you about the question on everybody's lips. When can we see the end of load shedding?
You need to have a really bad line before we can hardly hear you. I can hardly hear you, but let us try. I think your question is, when can we see the end of load shedding?
Yes, it is.
Thank you. I can hear you better now. Eskom has stated for a year already that we have a shortage of capacity that should come from new power stations or new sources of generation, be those wind energy, whatever the system. And that is a government policy that will decide. From Eskom's own perspective, we are busy with the reliability maintenance, where we have taken currently 15% of Eskom's power stations to repair them in order to improve their reliability and reduce the occurrence of load shedding. In addition, we are almost complete at the Medupi power station with correcting the building defects there, or the design defects. We are on the last unit now. 5 have been completed, and the power station has improved performance to about 75%. We will start next month with the same repairs to the Kusile power station, which will be completed by January 2022. All of this, from Eskom's perspective, will significantly reduce the occurrence of load shedding, and indeed we are hoping by the end, towards September this year, we will have significantly reduced the occurrence of load shedding through the repairs, the reliability maintenance that we have spoken about. It is not, however, possible to say that load shedding can be eliminated with the current capacity that we do have.
And Sikonathi, when one looks at, the issues around the power stations and infrastructure that is also giving Eskom a problem. I spoke a short while ago to someone that was holding the position you were holding at some point in her career. That's Hilary Joffe. And she was saying that, keeping the lights on during the World Cup was done to the detriment of maintenance, because the mandate was clear: keep the lights on, but a lot of maintenance could not be done during that time. Would you say that played a role as well?
That indeed has played a role, but it is not the only cause of load shedding. Remember, even after the World Cup, there were times when, for some reason, the lights had to be kept on at any cost. And that cost we are paying now. So if you defer maintenance at this point, you will be having this problem again in a few years' time. We are paying a high price for the decisions that were made to not conduct maintenance at the time, and that is what Eskom is trying to avoid at this point. That, unfortunately, provides the short-term pain that we are going through now of load shedding, in order to make the machines a little more reliable going forward, so that we do not have this conversation. And as I had said before, we are improving the capacity and availability of these power stations by correcting the problematic building that did occur at Medupi and at the Kusile power station. In Hula, those designs have been indeed completed, and that has increased again the electricity available from the Ingula pumped storage. That is one of the causes. We have a duty now to make sure that we are not talking to the people of South Africa about the same reasons going forward.
I tell you, you say short term, but to us as South Africans, it feels like a lifetime. Every day we have load shedding. But let's move to this now. Kusile is a new power station, and, the Eskom COO has said that it's one of the most problematic ones. I want us to listen to that soundbite from the Eskom COO, Jan Oberholzer.
Appoint the group executive for generation. Over the last 3 years, we had 5 people in this position, so it is now really necessary to ensure that we have leadership stability.
Now, Sikonathi, why is this power station still problematic, and will it be online by 2023?
I have said next month, correcting the design defects. There are currently 2 units that are commercial or are part officially of the fleet, which still need to have the same treatment that has been done at the Medupi power station, and the other 3 are still under construction. Eskom will carry out these repairs to the building problems to correct them, and it is of course scheduled to be completed, the whole power station, by December 2023. We will continue. We will start with the repairs to the defects starting next month, and that work on the 3 units that are currently generating will be completed by January 2022.
Are you certain that come 2023 everything will be done at that particular power station?
The planning at this point and the project is pointing to the fact that we will indeed be complete by 2023. Remember, we must also again frankly tell the people of South Africa that these power stations, both Medupi and Kusile, have been delayed for more than 5 years due to various problems that have happened in the past. So we are doing everything to stick to the current schedule, which is Medupi will be complete, everything will be complete within the next 4 to 5 weeks, and that will not be a building project anymore. We will be complete with Kusile by December 2023 in terms of the new schedule that we have, and that will of course include the corrections to the building problems, which then will help increase the capacity of electricity there.
And Sikonathi, this morning we spent time through some of our reporters speaking to various South Africans who have been affected by load shedding. Some of them are saying that they've had to, take money they don't have to purchase generators, while others have had to close shop, while others are saying that, their stock, particularly if they run food businesses, is going to waste because as soon as power is off, they have no means of keeping supplies, intact. What do you say today to those South Africans who are sitting at home and really hoping for some kind of either recourse or even news that load shedding will soon come to an end?
Mangete, the reality of the situation is that Eskom has been going through and taking South Africa through this crisis of load shedding for 13 years, and for a long time there have been denials and many denials about there being a crisis. We are at a point where everybody who is honest accepts that indeed there is a crisis with electricity. The measures that I have spoken to you about are trying to avoid this going forward, and we are doing everything possible, and the government has come to the party by announcing the procurement of an emergency 2,600 megawatts reserves, and let's add this again, to procure capacity is a government policy and a process, and the government is handling that. Eskom's duty has indeed to ensure that what it does already have makes it work properly, and that is easier said than done. That is the work that I have described to you as improve our own capacity from inside. The reality of the matter is, if we are not able to get all of these things correct, including Eskom succeeding in repairing its power stations, including the government succeeding in procuring new generation capacity, we will again subject to South Africa to this kind of load shedding going forward.
Now, Sikonathi, I can't let you go without asking you questions. I was speaking to the Black Management Forum President Andile Nomlala just as we began the show, and there are calls for the suspension of the group CEO while the process of investigating the allegations of racism unfolds. How has Eskom responded to the statement that came out yesterday?
Again, the last part of your question I did not hear, but I will start where you left off. Unregulated, there is a complaint and allegation against him that has indeed directly been sent to the Standing Committee on Public Accounts. The Committee of Parliament will do its own work there, and Eskom will account as required. They have indicated that they will investigate that. From Eskom's perspective, there is no grievance against Andre Durator. There is an established grievance process that should have been utilized had anybody had any complaint against Mr. Durator. That has not been done. But because these allegations are now in the public domain, the board of Eskom decided, one, to enlist the services of a senior legal practitioner to investigate if there is any veracity and credibility to the allegation of racism against Andre Durator. That legal expert will then report to the board with recommendations about the way forward. And should there then be a need for Eskom to pursue a disciplinary process, should there be any credibility to the allegation, Eskom will indeed institute disciplinary proceedings against anyone who may have behaved in such an unacceptable manner. The board of Eskom is unequivocal, and it is unanimous in that racism and sexism is not welcome anywhere in society, and certainly not at Eskom, not anywhere, not at any level of Eskom. It will take the action. What it is doing now is to establish whether there is any credibility to this allegation, and all the parties involved will be given an opportunity to show reason why there should be any disciplinary process, and it is only on that basis when there is any credible evidence that has been gathered on them, that they can be put through a disciplinary hearing, which involves suspension of people.
All right, Sikonathi, I do wish we had more time, but that's where we'll leave it for today. Thank you so much for your time today. That is Sikonathi Mantshantsha, who is the spokesperson for Eskom.